Hey there, I'm Parth, and this is day 317 of my 365-day challenge to master communication skills. So, I have just watched the whole Breaking Bad web series, and I have learned one of the very important communication skill lesson from them, from there. And I learned particularly specifically from the character of Walter White, how he communicates. So if you watch the series in the initial time in first one two seasons, the Walter White's communication, how he communicates, the ability to convince people, to you know manipulate people and to control a conversation is not that great. But as the story goes forward, his ability to convince, to control a conversation, and to manipulate people gets better. And there are difference in every single series, and those, like how he communicates, there are like differences you can see in his character if you notice very closely. So the first one is staying saying less words. Saying less words makes you very strong in a conversation. It makes you very strong. And the second one is being comfortable with silence. And the third one is not asking permissions to say no. And the fourth and the last one is emotional control over a conversation. So the first one, you can see that when you use less words, when you are in a conversation, when you're just not really explaining, because when you explain yourself too much, when you say too much words, you look more unsure about it. It's ironically very funny, but yeah, when you try to explain yourself too much, you actually look more unsure about your situation, whatever you're talking. So don't do that. And the second one is being comfortable with silence is very important. For example, if you want to convince your friend to go to the college tomorrow morning, so if you are just explaining him that you should go tomorrow, there is a very important class, and there are blah blah blah, you are saying a lot of things, you are giving him reasons to go, and you are motivating him. But if you really want to, just after all of that, even that, your friend might not get convinced by you. The one thing you can try is, like I'm telling you, is that you have to come to the next day, you have to come to college, you have to say yes to me right now. Say yes, and don't look anywhere, just look at his eyes. Just look at his eyes, eye contact, maintain. And until and unless he says yes, don't move away your eyes from his eyes, and just look at him. Because most of the people sustain cannot maintain silence. They are very uncomfortable and very awkward being silent, in a conversation with anybody. So just to move on fast, just to get out of this uncomfortable situation, this discomfort, they would say something. and they would say those things which they don't even want to say, but for the sake of just moving out, they will say yes, and they will listen to your thing, whatever you are saying. This is very important, and this works. Try once, I mean, try with somebody. And the third one is not taking permissions to say no. When you mean no, you should never explain why you are saying no, why you are like you don't want to do this or you don't want to go there or something. Never explain, never say anything. You just have to say no, and I will not gonna do that, and that's it. That is all. I mean, that's our conversation. I don't want to talk about this anymore. And after that point, people won't ask you anymore. They would just move on. It's very important and very useful trick when you have to, a lot of people struggle to say no. I also struggle to say no to the people, but just when you over explain, when you explain yourself, people finds some of the potholes, some people holes like in your story, in your explanation. So people will be like, this is the reason, this is why aren't you doing this, they will suggest so many things. But when you don't even explain, when you are like, I mean, I say no, and I means this is no, there is nothing, no conversation. So then there is nothing to argue, then there is nothing to say. And the fourth, the last one is having emotional control in a conversation. So emotional control is a very important thing, because when you are too emotional in a conversation, you look uncertain, and in any communications setting, in any situation, in any conversation, it's very important you look certain, you look sure about whatever you're saying. Then only then people will believe in you, people will listen to you, otherwise they won't. So don't show emotions and don't think emotionally while you are talking, while you are communicating. Never. It will ruin your ability to think logically, and when you are not thinking logically, you won't be really sure about whatever you're saying, or you won't be certain. So just try to control your emotions, not even control, but just emotions are coming to your mind, but just don't express it. Just don't express it by your body language, by your tonality, anything. Just say logically, just say by having a detachment from your emotions, from your thought, from your any other thoughts. And yeah, these are very important thing I have learned from Breaking Bad, and these are like very interesting thing. It is very useful in real life situation. I have used it just recently, and that worked. That worked. It needs a lot of courage to do that, because you think like, what it gonna think the other person. But believe me, like, if you do that what you don't want to do, it would hurt more than you think. Hurting yourself is not good, and the other people anyways, like, you understand anyways, the if the other people always allows you in situations like, the other person says yes to everything whatever you say, then you would say obviously yes most of the time. But the other person won't really say like in the yes, and they say sometimes no, 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 reciprocation is not really good, then you have to say no sometimes, or convince people sometimes. Yeah, and that's it. See you in the next video.